Hello and welcome to Hot Money Technicals on BloombergQuint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. This is the show which gets you a complete wrap of all the stocks that are buzzing in trade. I'm Darshan Mehta. Let's welcome our experts then. Raja Venkatraman of Chart Advice, along with Shrikant Chauhan of Kotak Securities and Amit Shah of India Bulls Ventures are joining me on the show. Thank you to all of my guests for joining me today. Before we begin with the show with our analysts, let's bring in Yash Upadhyay, who has a chart on Balrampur Chini. Obviously, Balrampur Chini trading at a fresh 52-week high in trade today. But Yash, does the chart indicate that the momentum will continue?
Absolutely, Darshan, and most of these sugar companies, including Balrampur Chini, have done extremely well over the last 1 month period. There has been a lot of news flow and positive sentiment as well. But looking at the price chart, and this is how the weekly chart of Balrampur Chini looks like, and we are seeing the formation of an inverted head and shoulder over here. So basically, these two are basically the shoulder, and this is the larger fall over here. That is where the head of the formation is, and we are seeing that it has managed to break out from that formation about last week, and it has managed to sustain above that mark as well. The last 4 weeks have been extremely positive for the counter. We saw this big move going from the levels of nearly 140 to as high as 173 right now. It has successfully taken it on the upside, out on the upside. The RSI too trending positive. So multiple factors, both the positive news flow, the inverted head and shoulder, which is a bullish formation, that being positive as well. So multiple triggers indicating that there is room for further move on the upside for Balrampur Chini from here on.
Okay, that's the view that's coming. 173.6 is where Balrampur Chini is. Raja, what's your sense on Balrampur? You believe the rally will continue?
Yes, the bullishness does seem poised to head for more upside. And looking at the current move, which it has seen about the inverted head and shoulder. So the move which can actually take it towards 190 levels would expect some pullback towards the region of around 165 to 167, where actually you could look to buy in, because it has run up quite a bit right now. Momentum is positive, but I would be looking to buy on pullback to these levels.
Okay, buy on pullback to these levels. Momentum looks positive. Shrikant, what's your sense on the counter?
Yeah, all these sugar stocks are really doing well, and in that Balrampur Chini is outperforming. In fact, Dhampur Sugar is also catching up to the rally which we saw in Balrampur Chini. But yes, Balrampur Chini is certainly heading for the levels of 190, 193, and this time the way there is outperformance, I think certainly it's a buy at current level.
Okay, what's your sense on it, Amit?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely in a clear uptrend. You know, the momentum is strong. If someone is holding already, I'll keep a stop. I'll keep a near-term stop below 159 from a trading perspective. 180 seems to be a bit of resistance. Once above that, it will target levels of about 200, 205 on the upside. Momentum is strong. Trend is positive. I'll continue to hold.
Okay, so sugar as a theme continues to look strong for the space. Obviously, different strategies, buy on decline, buy now. The rally probably will continue. The view somehow seems to be on the positive side. Let's start with the first round of charts. First up is Raja with a chart on PVR. PVR has managed to rally over the past few days. Today also has managed to do well. Why are you bullish on PVR?
If you take a look at the decline which emerged since the September highs, the price were attempting to move up, but they were curtailed by the trend line which I have drawn right now. But then looking at the way it was forming a rounding base somewhere in the region of around 1725, the prices were suggesting that it is intending to actually head higher. So what really happened was the strong bullish candle which we saw yesterday was a trigger that there are high probability for this trend line to break out, and that's why I recommended it as a buy candidate. And also, if you take a look at the momentum indicators, I have used the MACD here, and MACD has started indicating a fresh opportunity here, and it's actually a low risk buy opportunity. MACD is suggesting the emergence of some bullish possibilities. Market is looking good overall, and PVR is a good momentum trade, and it could actually head higher. That's why I have considered it as a buy opportunity.
Okay, so it's at 1818 currently. What's the best place to buy it? Because it's rallied for 2 days. Is it the right time to buy?
Yeah, you could buy at current levels. You could use dip towards 1800 as a buy opportunity. Place a stop loss below 1770 for an upside towards 1875.
1875. And you see this 1875 coming soon, or will it be
within the next 1 week to 10 days?
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. Won't ask Shrikant because it's on Kotak's restriction list. So I'll ask Amit. Amit, your view on PVR?
Yeah, I mean, probably a few weeks back on the same show, I'd covered the same with the same view PVR. So I continue to have a bullish stance on PVR, and I think it's ripe for a very sharp rally on the upside if it materializes. It's a nice flag breakout, you know. The pole itself was very strong with good strong volumes. So the upside could be very sharp. The first target that I have is 1880 on the upside, but it could overall go as high as 2100 on a positional basis over the next 2 months. So I'll keep a stop, near-term stop below 1700 for the stock.
Okay, PVR is the first stock, and remember in the morning we had covered on the fundamental side the changes to the AMFI. So PVR is one of the contenders that could move from the small cap to the mid cap, and if that happens, I'm saying it's a potential one, and if that happens, there could be significant amount of buy flows that could come in onto PVR. The next stock that we want to talk about is Hindustan Unilever, and that's the chart that Srikanth has highlighted. Remember yesterday a sales warning guidance that came in from the parent. Again, significant amount of selling yesterday. Again, selling. A lot of the brokerages have cut the EPS estimates on HUL. But what's your sense? Should someone long at this point, or you feel there could be more downside?
See, like the way the stock has fallen from the highs of 2190 to almost 1920, 1915 today, I am of the view that it's a corrective pattern which the stock is going to complete somewhere close to this 1900 or 1890 levels. The reason is because the stock has spent a lot of time during 2019, almost 7-8 months. It was well below the levels of 1870, 1880 levels. And after that it has broken the level, and now it's a throwback pattern. So if it is a throwback pattern, and if it is a large cap of index component, then it's always means we consider such type of corrective patterns as a buying opportunity for short term as well as long term traders. So it's a buy at these price, and we can keep stop loss somewhere close to 1850 on the downside, because below 1870 I'm not expecting stock to fall, but in case if it breaks, then we can expect further more decline.
Okay.
But right now the way there is a correction from 2190, it was in the month of November around 2190 levels. From there all the way the stock is correcting. So it's a great risk reward ratio to buy.
Yeah, so basically the stock is falling, so 1850 is the stop loss.
Yeah.
Ideally, should you recommend anyone to buy, if someone wants to buy of the share, should they buy maximum at this level, or do you expect that, you know, at lower levels the reward, it's a better option to buy at lower levels now?
No, I think buy to at least 50% at these levels, and in case if it drops to let's say 1870, which was its breakout level in the past, there one can add further more with the final stop loss at 1850.
What's your target on this counter?
We can again see the levels of at least previous highs, but 2150 we can say it as a target for current purchase.
And that it would be a slow mover, right? It would be a positional slow mover, or would it be the rise would come fast?
No, in fact, the way there is a corrective pattern, and after completing corrective pattern, always stock tries to enter into trending up move.
Okay.
And that is why we are expecting after hitting 1870 or maybe 1920 levels, we can expect a sharp up move in the stock.
Okay, HUL bullish call. Thank you so much, Srikanth. Amit, would you be bullish on HUL, or are you negative?
I would be, but as of now, I will wait. My sense is it would test around 1860, 1870 kind of a zone, which is where I think there are high chances that it would probably the near-term correction is likely to end somewhere there. So I would buy around that 1860, 1870 region. I'll take a risk of about 20-25 bucks from there, and look to play for a pullback towards 2000. So the risk reward is quite decent. I think the way today's move is shaping up, I think a test of 1860, 1870 would very much be possible on the downside.
Okay, and what's your sense, Raja?
Yeah, around the 1860 to 1870 zone, there is a confluence of the valuation area which Srikanth highlighted, and also it is the Fibonacci 61.8 support area from the low which it was formed in July to the high in early November. So the overall setup looks good for a buy on pullback, and even the momentum indicators are showing a pullback. So around those zones, if we are able to see some positive momentum, we will be initiating a buy. Otherwise, I would look to avoid this stock right now.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on the second stock, that is HUL. The next stock is from Amit. It's on tin plate. Over the past few days, we've seen metal stocks rallying significantly, especially Tata Steel, which is again up in trade today. One of the counters from the Tata Group is tin plate. So what's happening with tin plate?
I think, Darshan, it is time for to play from the mid and the small cap end of the market. Last 4-5 sessions we are seeing very strong market breadth. I think that the mid and the small cap trade is coming back. Now if we look here at this particular one, this is a long-term chart, this is a monthly chart. So what we have seen is a multi-year breakout around this zone. If you see, the stock had broken out, and within what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months the stock had gone up from 90 to 350. So that was a very strong breakout on a monthly scale. What we are seeing now again here is, the stock has successfully tested the same zone. Now these are monthly candles which have held, so that confirms that this support is a strong support zone, and market has successfully tested that support zone. Now if we can switch to the near-term time frame on a daily time frame, what we are seeing here is a nice inverse head and shoulder happening. The stock had broken out above the inverted head and shoulder, has successfully retested the zone, and now again the rally has begun. So I think it's a very beautiful setup on a monthly scale. It's at a very nice, successfully tested the long-term support zone, and also on a daily time frame what we are seeing is successful retest of the bullish pattern. So and this stock has a good potential upside towards 180. The first target is 180, which is also sizable, decent move from here, and overall I do expect the stock to move towards 210 kind of region.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in, 180 and 210. Thanks so much for that, Amit. Shrikant, is tin plate something that looks attractive to you?
Yeah, certainly it's a very attractive stock to buy for, because the way the stock has corrected, and now the stock has started establishing higher top, higher bottom series, which is positive in terms of technicals. In fact, the stock was somewhere around 80 levels. From there all the way now the stock is around 150. So we may see some corrective pattern between this 155, 145 zone, but eventually I think it is heading for the levels of minimum 170, 175 in next few weeks. So it will take time, but it's a buy. Currently it is much higher from its recent lowest level. So buy if it corrects, and keep stop loss at 140. That's the overall call.
Okay, buy and stop loss at 140. Raja, what's your sense?
Yeah, the overall setup is bullish. On the weekly charts, it's given a flag breakout, and the momentum structure is clearly indicating that it could travel to the upside. But looking at the way it has run up, I would advocate a buy on pullback strategy somewhere in the region of around 145 levels, facing a stop loss below 140 for an upside towards 165.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on the counter. Let's begin with the second round of chart. And Raja has a chart on Tech Mahindra. Obviously, yesterday Tech Mahindra had the analyst meet. A lot of positive commentary was given in terms of the growth. Near-term margins obviously look a little sluggish, but they were extremely positive on the long-term chart. Let's pull up the chart. It's at 782 currently. What's the trend? Why should one buy this counter?
Yeah, if you look at the chart structure overall, it was trying to attempt to move higher in the month of May. But then the prices corrected quite a bit, and the prices bottomed out somewhere in the month of August. And from there on, you could see that there has been a steady higher low formation, which is indicating of some bullish opportunity here. But then somewhere in the month of November, the price got into a ranging action, because the previous highs around these levels, they were actually holding back. But now we see that the steady support and some momentum again coming back into the IT space. This stock could actually look to head higher. And if you take a look at a lower panel, I've used the RSI, and RSI is clearly suggesting that the trend is steadily inching higher. So in combination of the price and momentum, it definitely advocates a good buying opportunity. This is a highly patronized stock by the traders as well as the investors. So this could look to head now much higher.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. So 782 currently. What's the ideal strategy? Buy now, buy and dips. What's the stop loss?
You could buy at current levels. You could use dips towards 770. Place a stop loss. Place stop loss at 770 and buy for an upside towards 825.
So that's a very.
It's a short-term trade.
It's a very short-term trade with a very
considering the nature of the IT space, the IT spaces are moving in short-term in nature. So it's a good short-term trade which I'm.
So it's a 15, 12, 13 rupee stop loss that you've given with a bigger target. You believe that the momentum on the upside could be on a faster pace?
Yes.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. Shrikant, Tech Mahindra, does that look attractive to you?
Yeah, it is attractive because the stock has recently broken its trading range, and after crossing that range, now again the stock is pulling back. So yes, certainly it's a buy at this price with a stop loss below 770 something, and we can expect at least 800 on the higher side because there the stock is having multiple resistance. So I'm not expecting stock to cross the level of 800 so easily. But yes, at this price, the risk-reward ratio is quite better for short-term traders.
Okay, and what's your sense on the counter?
Yeah, the near-term consolidation has broken out on the upside. The overall trend is up. So I'll keep a stop below 759 and look for a move towards 815, 820 kind of a region in the near term. It's a trading call basically.
Okay, trading bet on the counter. That's something that's been spoken about. Shrikant's next chart is on the big one, HDFC Bank, which over the past few days has started to inch up slowly. It's moved all the way from almost 1280, 1290 currently.
Yeah.
You think that the momentum will continue?
Yeah, Darshan, see, like we always tries to follow major patterns, and based on that only we try to give calls to our clients because we try to give positional calls. But yes, this time also HDFC Bank has formed very strong ascending triangle, which is very bullish pattern because it shows that because of its fundamental value XYZ, the stock has spent a lot of time between 1280, 1290 levels, and the buyers are aggressive and buyers are inching upward from the levels of 1230, 1200 to almost 1230, 1235. So this time also when the stock was around 1235, it has formed a classic reversal pattern after hitting that particular trend line. So it shows that the stock is forming ascending triangle, which is bullish indication, bullish continuation pattern. And about 1290 we can expect next level 1330 on immediate basis.
Okay.
But because the way there is a lot of strength in Bank Nifty, financials and private banks, I'm expecting stock is going to complete its overall target. So if we deduct let's say 1290 from 1200 levels, then it comes to almost 80-90 rupees.
Okay.
So if we add to that, then it comes to 1370.
Okay.
So the final target for the stock is between 1370, 1380. So it's a buy at this price.
But it's a slow mover, right? It will be a slow mover. You don't see HDFC Bank rallying.
Yeah, maybe it will spend some time between the range of maybe 1290 and 1250. But eventually when it will break this particular upward zone, in that case we can expect sharp up move.
So above what level do you see a breakout point?
1290.
About
1290.
On the cash market.
On the cash market.
Okay, thanks so much for that. Raja, what's your sense on HDFC Bank? How do you see the chart?
Over the last 6 months, over the last actually 4 months, it has been trying to cross the levels of around 1290 successfully. But the attempt has not met with some buying interest. So I would wait for the 1290 levels to be crossed and some bullishness to be seen on the higher time frame charts before I concur on a bullish view. Yes, overall chart structure is positive. Momentum is trying to recover, but still there is some slowness seen in the momentum. So I would wait for a 1290 level to be crossed.
Now, Amit, what's your sense on HDFC Bank?
Probably all of us have the same view. You know, it's important for the stock to cross 1290 on a closing basis. That is when it breaks out and the momentum on the upside starts. Because right now it's building in higher base. It is showing signs that it is in a mature stage of probably breaking out. But till that doesn't happen, one should actually avoid going long. About 1290, yes, a very quick move towards 1290, 1300. 1400 is very much likely, you know. So I would wait to buy above 1290. I'll keep a stop below 1248 in the cash market.
Okay, so I think 1290 is the important level that you need to watch out for, at least on the cash market, not the F&O segment, for HDFC Bank, after which the momentum will continue. But I think the overall structure is very positive, is something that our analysts have indicated. The last chart, at least from our guest today, is a chart on Siemens, and that's a chart that Amit has highlighted. Let's pull up the chart. Why are you bullish? It's seen a big reversal from levels of 1700. You expect that the move on the upside will continue now, and why?
Yes, Darshan. So what we have seen here is a very strong up move developing, and post that what we have seen is a correction of this phase of up move. So in simple terms, this phase is nothing but the correction in an uptrend. This is a bit of a deeper correction in an uptrend, but the trend prior to that is also a much larger one. What we are seeing here is a decent support coming in around the Fibonacci 38.2% retracement, and stock is seeing fatigue on the downside, and the selling is getting absorbed here. So overall the structure is positive. Also, what is very important here is the stock has come off from life highs. So this was the first big attempt towards the fresh all-time life highs, and this is the first correction post that. So ideally, a stock which has made successful fresh all-time high, the first correction, is a good opportunity to buy into the overall uptrend. So it's a nice space here. It's also already showing signs that the selling is on the downside is getting fatigued. So one should look to buy here and play for targets of 1580 is the first target and 1630 is the second target for the stock. I'll keep a stop below 1479 for this.
Yeah, the ADX somehow is not indicating a very positive outlook.
Yeah, correct. But in this phase, what we have seen here is, a nice move on the ADX upwards. And it's quite natural that since here the correction that we have seen, the ADX would have cooled naturally. But that is, of course, not weakness. What we are seeing is in confluence, if you see everything, it's in a strong uptrend. The first move after the all-time highs and the Fibonacci retracement also, this tight range itself suggests that selling is ebbing on the downside.
Okay, 1500. Thank you so much for that. Mr. Srikanth, Siemens, are you positive on the counter?
Yes, Darshan, we are positive on the counter, and the stock has formed classic reversal formation not only on weekly basis but also on monthly basis. It was well below the level of close to 1480, 1470 for a longer period, and after breaking out that level, first time the stock is throwing back. I mean to say it is again coming back to that important level. So certainly it's a buy. We can see the levels of at least 1600, 1630 on the higher side. So it's a buy at this price.
Okay, buy again, and would it be a buy from your end also?
Yeah, I'm partly in agreement with my colleagues here, saying that the stock has definitely bottomed out. But then when you look at the momentum, it's not giving me any healthy signs of recovery as yet. So I would wait for 1525 to be crossed on the upside. Until then, it would be a wait and watch for me.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on the counter. The last chart, at least from Yash, is a chart on Pidilite. Let's pull up the counter and see the trend what that has happened. It's a buy recommendation that's coming in. Why?
That's right, Darshan. So 2 buy calls today. This one again on the back of the trender indicator, which is the proprietary Bloomberg indicator. Now, this is what the stock has done on the daily time frame, and it has managed to move above the mark of trender. Obviously, the trigger is it takes place only when the price closes above that mark, and the markets are yet to close. But currently, it stands above the mark of the trender, which is at 1342. The stock is fairly above that mark in today's day of trade. We are seeing good price volume action as well, with the stock forming a large green candle today, up higher by almost 1.5 or 2%, and with that it has managed to take out the trender indicator. We have been seeing that over the last several trading sessions the stock has been moving in a sideways trend, and this is the first big move in fact that we've seen in almost over a month's period in Pidilite. So there is volume led buying happening in today's day of trade. We are seeing this large candle as well as taking out of the trender indicator. So multiple factors indicating that there is strength right now at current levels in Pidilite, and one could look to go long in the counter right now.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. Thanks so much for that. Yes, 1350 is where Pidilite is. What's your sense? Is pretty long?
Yeah, it's definitely long side. Unlike Siemens, which was doing a similar kind of consolidation, this Pidilite has given a nice breakout today. And at current levels, it is definitely indicating that it could travel all the way towards 1425 in the next 1 week to 10 days. And the momentum structure is also suggesting that fresh buying enthusiasm has emerged. So overall prospects suggest that it's looking good for a multi-day play.
Srikanth, your sense on Pidilite?
Yes, see, like this indicator, the trender is very strong whenever if it is forming some horizontal pattern. So in this particular chart also, if you see, then it has whenever the stock has spent time below this indicator for at least 1 month or 1.5 months, and if it starts giving a breakout formation, then in that case certainly it's a buy. So yeah, it's a classic buy at this price, and we can expect further more upside.
And what's your sense on this, Amit?
Yeah, actually it's I think a good pick by Yash. The correction is getting over. The correction which came from the life highs of about 1490 is probably ending now. I'll keep a stop below 1275 on this one. The first target that I have is 1420, and I do expect the stock to even test its all-time highs of 1490. So, I mean, the primary trend also is quite bullish here.
Okay, so it's extremely positive, and since we have time, let's discuss some of the buzzing stocks. I want to talk about NMDC. Let's pull up the chart of NMDC. It's trading at 52-week high. It's trading at pretty much the day's high. Obviously, when the Nifty Metal Index is down almost 20% on a year-to-date basis, NMDC has been up 20%. Raja, Raja, if you can come in here. What do you make of this chart? If someone we're discussing some buzzing stocks, so
Sure.
how should one trade in NMDC?
So if you look at the charts of NNBC, what you can see here is it has been making a beautiful rounding pattern. So rounding pattern are an indication of consolidation and further move to the upside. And what you see here, there was an attempt here somewhere in early 2019, which it could not sustain. There was once again an attempt here from say July to November, which it could not sustain. But right now what we are seeing is there was small rounding pattern here. And this rounding pattern has given a successful breakout. And if you use a target objective here, you are getting a target objective of somewhere in the region of around 20 points from here. So you can expect a target towards 135. And also if you plot some momentum indicator here, you will see there is a strong momentum drive to the upside. Along with that, if you see here consistent higher low, which is suggesting buying interest which is developing, and if you just draw a trend line, this nice trend line support. So overall prospects along with the metal space buzzing, it looks to be a good buying opportunity.
Okay, good buying opportunity. Shrikant, you can come in here if you want to explain the chart. How would you play NMDC?
It's a very strong pattern or formation, but it is on, if we pull up the chart of monthly of the same, then I can explain you very clearly. The stock has formed double bottom formation on monthly basis, and if we go through with the metal space, then JSW Steel, Tata Steel, Hindalco, all these stocks have formed double bottom formation either on daily, either on weekly basis. This has formed, because it's a PSU, it has formed double bottom formation on monthly basis, and it is heading upward. So it has already validated to the bottom formation, and it is heading for the upward targets, which is going to validate the overall formation. So that target is somewhere around 144, 145.
Okay.
So certainly it's a buy at this price, but yeah, we has to have that patience to hold this for a longer time.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Shrikant. Amit, you can explain your view on the chart, NMDC. Well, how do you read this chart?
Yes. So yeah, as Shrikant said, there is a good double bottom formation at 75 levels. What we have seen here is, this was the panic selling region, which got quickly absorbed, and there was a V-shaped recovery. Now, V-shaped recovery, the shape itself tells you the aggression of the buyers. As they got the price at the lower end, they quickly, immediately bounce back, and the strong buying that occurred post that has created this V-shaped recovery. So the setup is quite great. Overall, metal sector is doing very well. I am quite bullish. I have remained quite bullish on metal sector, and I continue to remain very bullish on metal space. There's also an inverse head and shoulder kind of a pattern here, and the stock has broken out. 120 is some sort of a sticky area. Once stock manages to clear that 120 region convincingly, I think this stock is headed towards 150, 155 region quite fairly quickly.
Okay, that's the view. Thank you so much for that, Amit. So it's a consistent buy call coming in. Obviously, you need your patience, but NMDC has been a massive outperformer on the metal space. But with that, it's a wrap on today's edition of Hot Money. Let me thank my guests who've come in today, Amit, Shrikant, as well as Raja. Thank you so much for coming in today. Ask BQ comes up next. Stay tuned to BloombergQuint.